Welcome to the show. I'm your host. Today we are looking at how to apply Jungian concepts in your daily life. Episode 22. Today's question is about dealing with people who make you crazy. You know who I'm talking about? Those people that get under your skin like nothing else. Well, Jung had some ideas about that. Say you have a friend or a family member who always shows up late to everything, but then they criticize everyone else for being late. Or maybe you've encountered a coworker who always takes credit for your work, but then they turn around and blame you when things go wrong. Either we become overly critical of them, or we become overly critical of ourselves. If we can learn to recognize the signs of our shadow, we can better understand why we're reacting the way that we are. For example, if we notice that we're getting overly critical of someone, we can ask ourselves, why does this person's behavior trigger me? So when someone else makes a mistake, try to be understanding. This is a technique that can help us explore our unconscious mind and bring our shadow into the light, where we can better understand it. Active imagination is a way to tap into the collective unconscious. According to Jung, the collective unconscious is a universal level of consciousness that contains the experiences of all human beings throughout history. The ones who make you laugh, who make you feel loved and accepted. That's the kind of energy we want to surround ourselves with. It's not always easy to put this into practice, but the results are definitely worth it. When we follow these steps, we not only improve our relationships with others, but we also improve our relationship with ourselves. We become more whole, more complete people. And the best way to attract these kinds of people into our lives is to be one of those people ourselves. We would love to have you join our community. Thanks for watching. Bye. So next time you find yourself getting angry or frustrated with someone, take a deep breath and try to see things from their perspective. Try to understand where they're coming from and what they're struggling with. Show them compassion and grace, and you'll find that your anger starts to melt away. It's like a giant database of human experience. And it's here where we can find the answers that we're looking for. The collective unconscious is full of symbolism and archetypes. Archetypes are like universal stories that we all know deep down, even if we've never heard them before. They're the foundation of all human culture. Jung believed that by exploring our active imagination, we can access the collective unconscious and tap into the wisdom of the universe. This can help us to better understand ourselves and the world around us. Everyone needs grace, and that includes you. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves of this. Is it a fear of being judged? A fear of not being good enough? By exploring these feelings, we can start to understand them better and ultimately let them go. When we focus on the negative, we forget that everyone makes mistakes. They make mistakes just like we do. And they're probably struggling with their own issues. When we remember this, we can start to feel more compassion for them and less anger. And when we feel compassion for others, we feel connected to them. And connection is what makes us human. Connection is what makes life worth living. It's what gives us meaning and purpose, and that includes us. If someone else makes a mistake, try to be understanding. Everyone needs grace, and that includes you. What about their behavior reminds me of my own negative traits? By doing this, we can start to understand the root of our anger and frustration. In both cases, we end up feeling bad about ourselves, and that doesn't feel good. The good news is that there are some things that we can do to help us cope with these situations. According to Jung, these are situations where you feel helpless and frustrated. But here's the thing. The situation doesn't have to be huge or dramatic for us to feel crazy. Maybe you're stuck behind someone slowly walking with their cart in the grocery store, and that seems to be all that's on your mind for the rest of the day. If we can neutralize our shadow, we can become more whole people. Can also improve our relationships with other people. Here are a few ways that we can start to neutralize our shadow. Take responsibility for your own emotions. This is important. Don't blame others for how you feel. If someone else's behavior triggers you, it's because you have something to work on. Own it. Don't defend yourself. Defending ourselves is a way of protecting our ego. But if we want to neutralize our shadow, we need to be open to the possibility that we could be wrong. Be objective. Try to see things from the other person's point of view. This can be difficult, but it's important. If you can see things from their perspective, you can start to understand why they might be acting the way that they are. Be forgiving. This is perhaps the most important step. If you can forgive yourself and others, you'll find that the anger and frustration start to dissipate. It's easier said than done, I know, but it's worth it. Maybe you're waiting for a technician to come to your home to fix something, and after hours of waiting, they finally arrive. But then they tell you that you need to purchase a new part for $300 before they can even begin to fix it. It doesn't take much, does it? Our brains pick up on these things and file them away. Sometimes it feels like we just can't stop thinking about them, which can lead us to feeling upset, anxious, stressed, and just plain overwhelmed. And those are not good feelings. So let's look at what he had to say and how we can apply it in our daily lives. So let's start with an example just to illustrate what this is all about. Now, if you're wondering why this happens, Jung would say that it's because we have a shadow side, and that's something we've talked about many times on this show. Carl Jung believed that each of us has a shadow side, which is full of all the things that we reject about ourselves. This can include things like negative personality traits, repressed emotions, and even unacceptable thoughts. We all have a shadow side, and it's what makes us human. But here's the problem. When we encounter someone who embodies these rejected parts of ourselves, we can become overwhelmed by them. Why? Because they bring out the worst in us. When we meet someone who represents our shadow, we tend to react in one of two ways. First, we need to learn how to recognize the signs of our shadow. This can be difficult, but it's important. Once we've identified the signs of our shadow, we can start to take steps to neutralize it. This can be difficult, but it's important. It's also important to remember that we're all human and we will all make mistakes. No one is perfect. In addition to following these steps, Jung also recommended that we engage in active imagination. When we encounter someone who brings out the worst in us, we can use active imagination to explore the root of our feelings. What are we really struggling with here? Another thing that can help us deal with people who bring out the worst in us is to remember that they are just people. They're not perfect. Think about the people in your life who make you feel good. So there you have it. A Jungian approach to dealing with people who bring out the worst in us. If you found this helpful, please share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel.